herself.
Yeah, that's not her. It's a vast juxtaposition between that dopey face. Oh, okay, there's some more dopey faces, but I don't know. If that's supposed to be What's-Her-Head, I don't think they caught it. Yeah, it's going to have to turn down. Here, you get to go first this week.
Shows you how often I go first, folks.
I don't think that's strictly the case. It's often because you make me do the setup stuff, so I have the controller in my hand.
So I therefore have to reward myself with...
No, it's because I use the controller to make sure that there's no V-syncing, which, by the way, I'm going to do now. Spin. Pirouette for us. Ballet man. Keep going.
Spin us around, you're the ballet man.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I have to hold it to make it work. And then what's with the flag? Is this a thing? Have we entered a Halo competition? This is new. I have no clue where we're at. It's been a while since we played this. Oh.
Investigate the clue.
I don't know what we're doing here. Our audio seems a little bit...
what? Okay.
No, it's at the usual volume. Audacity's just making the peaks look awfully low. I don't know, is it the mic being further away? You have to talk louder? I don't know. I don't want to adjust it mid-go, so I won't.
What's he doing? Because he's just...
I don't know. The question is, what are you doing?
I don't know.
I thought it was Scatuga, and that would have been okay. Scataga, because that just sounds like a horrific feces-based sci-fi monster. But Stakuga, I don't know, that's not nearly as funny. Whoop, he's edgy, he's got chains, and they excite him.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, you were too slow for that one. Ay, ay, ay. This is quite a dynamic intro.
Yes, it is.
Is this just the kind of week it's been?
It certainly has been for me, yes. I had the first kind of...
I had a vasectomy this week.
Okay.
Or a colonoscopy.
Both?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Both? Well, you might as well get them done at the same time.
It's quite the...
I mean, I'd say if, you're going to put me out anyways. I guess, do they put you out?
No.
For one or the other, actually.
Neither.
I think you can request to be put out for a colonoscopy. But they, I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly putting out, or it's more like they just numb you so much that you kind of pass out, but you're still sort of... You're not technically asleep.
Why is it
It's not like surgery.
Getting my brain?
I don't know. You don't seem to be getting your brain. You need some Monster or coffee or something. Smoke some weed.
Monster coffee.
That's the exact opposite of what you need. You need some crack. Monster coffee. I think that's what the Klingons drink. Well, you going to explain your grumpiness, or are you just going to be grumpy?
Well, no, I'm not grumpy, but I did have my first moment within kind of the Peaky Blinders fandom where...
I don't think this is your first... In fact, I think this is, like, far from the first.
No, it's certainly the first, where online somebody made a suggestion that that Stephen Knight or like they didn't even know who it was. So to be fair, they probably didn't really know that.
That was
pushed
funny.
X, so I don't exactly know.
Well, now we get to deal with Scatface. I'm a little bit. Hang on a sec. This is weirding me out. I don't like how low those peaks are. I'm gonna bump it up just slightly because this seems lower than it should be. Maybe that's just because we're so low energy. We need to get hyped.
So, anyway,
be happy. I at least like those peaks better. Well, Scatface, I mean, he's living up to it. Oh, I thought he was the big guy. Who's the big guy? I want him on my team at least for no other reason than he's big. Azadar the Humongous? No, I don't think. That's not going to work for me.
Anyway, he made a suggestion that, and I quote, the director... He realized that apparently the director made a split-second decision for the scene in which...
Dressed Zoo?
What?
I don't care who this person is. I don't get these weird online things they insist upon. I'm not interested in him either. Where's the story? That's what I want. Oh, this was the weird. I remember. It's been a long time since we played this. It's the weird forest witch thing.
A forest witch of terrible power. So anyway,
right up in the mic to say that, people would have loved it.
He suggested that essentially the scene with Changretta and Tommy, and the fact that Tommy says, "Oh, you know, are you feeling comfortable now?" and points the gun at him, and then he says, "Well, it was unloaded," and that's all this other stuff. That they had to switch the gun out from his normal, what the gun had previously been, obviously the Webley, because that scene wouldn't have worked if it was a revolver, because he would have known that it was loaded or not based on looking at it. And I'm like, okay,
I mean,
first of all,
theoretically,
you're incorrect, because there have been scenes other than just that one in which
he picks that up. He gets that from one of Alfie's guys.
Yeah, like when he starts moving up, and it's a natural progression of, hey, I'm starting to move up in the world, I'm going to get a better firearm.
I don't think it's necessarily that it was better. I think he took it off of that guy. It's a single
stack versus a revolver, and there is a...
There's no reason to suggest that one's better than the other.
You and I both.
I like the 1911 far more than you, so the fact that I'm the one downgrading it.
I'm not suggesting that you do. You don't. What I'm saying is, you and I both would agree that revolvers are fantastic, and if you have a revolver, more power to you.
And
we
they
love
have a place.
And
there's nothing inherently better about a single action.
In the time period, it would have made sense to
quote
unquote
a
upgrade.
fancier thing. It would have been new.
Exactly.
But that's not. Again, we see him get it because he pulls it off of what's his head's guy of Alfie's guy that he kills. Like literally, he actually takes it off of him and then walks away with it. So it's it's not even a guess.
Right. But my point is, so first of all, whoever that was just was a poor fan because they didn't actually know what was going on.
Wow, you're going to be one of those people now.
And second of all, to suggest that Stephen Knight had literally no other method or no other purpose for changing a main character's firearm outside of like, oh, that won't work in that scene otherwise, is foolish. Giving Stephen Knight more credit than that, because it's necessary.
I think you might be turning insufferable.
Well,
because I mean, like,
I could have told you that, and not just about Peaky Blinders.
When you start saying things
Did you call me an insufferable bastard?
When you start calling people, it's like, oh, you must not be a true fan. It's like, you're in the insufferable territory. Like, I mean, I have strong opinions about Arcane, as you know, but I wouldn't go quite that far. Like, there's people who hate, why am I looking out into the vastness of nothing? Yeah, there's a thing way over there in the shadows. Oh, goodness, there's so much stuff around here. Like, I wouldn't say anyone who, dislikes Silco is a bad fan. I would just say that we're sort of ideologically opposed. Because I can understand the reasons why people would have that opinion. I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, but see, this wasn't an opinion. And to present yourself as an expert online and be like, I just realized something about Stephen Knight. Was the dude awfully
twittish about it?
He was twittish.
Okay, because that's if he was insufferable too, then I guess that doesn't exactly make it okay, but I guess you might have had some justification.
I'm just saying,
I don't deal with people online for this reason.
Well, I certainly didn't comment at all, but
except now.
I'm commenting.
I comment after the fact.
I'm commenting on my own platform. Yes.
I don't know what that is over there, but I'm going towards it.
Well, anyway, give Stephen Knight more credit is my point.
Oh, you're the one who doesn't give him credit.
With what?
With the movie that's really good that you don't like. I'm going to keep throwing that in your face.
Let Locke go.
No,
let him
I
go.
won't. He's a good friend of mine. I guess, I mean, we're going to get around about to the ultimate topic, but since we're on the subject of movies, I watched a thing that I think maybe is like the opposite of what Locke was for you. Oh, this is a different quest. I watched
it's just a different person.
A film.
What is great for you?
That is good.
But it's not good.
Well, no, it's sort of the way you agreed. It's like, yeah, it was a great film, but I don't know that I crack horn. There you go. He's not
I
at my
don't know
crack
that I
horn.
crack horn.
We're taking crack horn. Bruz.
Oh, the chopper.
Bruise. It's probably bruise, and that makes it even dumber. I don't know.
Okay, we should
Call
keep him
him
solely
Bruv.
because he looks like Bruce from Finding Nemo.
No.
He does. Look at him.
Oh no, he can't kill crack horn. He killed crack horn.
Oh, so upsetting when that
Screw you,
happens.
bruz. I'm not calling you Bruise. That's what he wants me to call him. I would have had the crack horn. Jimmy would crack horn, and I would care.
You need to keep your Jimmy out of crack horn.
Well, you certainly don't want to go sticking that in there. I don't want this guy as a... No, he killed the guy I wanted. I suppose I could have intervened, but it didn't give me the chance.
Kill him.
I guess I can do that. Break him and then dominate him. Well. Okay, then. Well, I don't know that I can take your advice, game.
I got him. No.
He's arrow-proof. What kind of schoolyard nonsense? This is my everything-proof shield. Okay, pirouette.
Schoolyard nonsense.
Well, yeah, you don't just get to claim that you're arrow-proof. That's not how it works. Because if he was truly arrow-proof, he'd be sword-proof. If anything, an arrow is probably a little bit more powerful than a sword, given the speed that it's going. I mean, I guess my dead corpse can probably supply a reasonable...
What was this,
Well, I don't need your monologue, bruise face. He's a warmonger tank. And you've mentioned this film. You didn't strictly recommend it, but I've heard people say good things about it. What's his deal? Yeah, he's heavily armored and he can't be shot. Okay.
What?
So he doesn't seem like a fun guy to fight at all.
Second wind. What is
So
the nonsense?
if he's close to death, he has a chance of just not being close to death anymore. I don't want to... No! Stop it! Punch his butt! Oh, okay. I don't like this unfair sprawl. I'm going to shoot you in your dingle. No! Ooh! I don't want to keep going between his legs. I'd like to, in fact, stop going between his legs. Execution? Who? That's of course not going to work. Why don't call it an execution if it's not going to kill him?
Well, you executed one gonad, and then you're going to do the other, and then
It's a slow castration. The slow knife cuts deepest. Ah! I keep fighting other guys. I actually don't want this guy on my team. Are they going to make me have him, or am I going to have the freedom to kill him? Because he killed the guy I liked, so I don't exactly want him. Unless they're like, you're going to need a big chungus on your team.
the big chungus.
Oh, I can dominate him. I don't want to, though. Can I just kill him? I'd rather do
just
that.
go dominate him, and then
kill him
the boy
later?
cries you sweater of tears, and then you kill him.
Again, I guess I kill him later. What am I doing? No. Oh, you broke my mind control. No! Okay, you and your lackeys. I like how they're just gonna... I'm just gonna kill him. I don't care enough about this. Well, he's gonna kill me! No! Who are you? You weird pole dancing pose. That was uncomfortable, man. I don't like your butt. And that's why I'm gonna turn it into turkey meat. Oh boy. Okay, so I don't think he's gonna die.
This film is what, though? You keep...
Whiplash. You've mentioned it. Okay, I pressed it like 3 times.
Whiplash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you didn't like it as much as you quoted it many times.
I quoted that one part because I think it's humorous, and it's very apropos.
I don't think he's gonna die. I think his health is staying exactly where it is until I do the thing they're telling me to do. Like, do you notice it changing? Because I don't think it's changing.
I don't know. Just dominate him.
I don't... Well, oh, no, it is changing. It's changing. I noticed it that time.
your
I
back.
want his delicious ham buttocks.
Get the bit in his mouth and ride him like a proper stallion.
I don't want to do any of these things. Okay, I think I just gave him a prostate exam.
Dominate.
There you go.
Dominate.
I dominated in a different way. Oh,
he dominated.
She's
you.
gonna be mad at me for killing? She's goth. She should appreciate murder. Okay.
Mission failed.
So, can I at least influence who wins and then dominate the winner? Because I don't want big bruised face. I want the crack horn. I need my supply. He's my dealer. This is a long loading screen. So you don't seem as keen on it as you seemed earlier.
No, it's not that I'm not I wasn't even ever keen on it specifically. I just quoted that one. So there's
No,
a part.
but you
in
said
that movie-
your was kind of non-committal.
Yeah, I'm committing right now. So just give me a second. My
Okay, so there's no hope.
there's a scene that I find quite humorous in which he's trying to get a drummer to play at a particular timing, and
How many times you gotta press it?
he smacks him in the face in order to basically establish that that's the tempo or whatever. I think it's humorous because I have drummed or I have played in bands.
I've smacked band members in the face
I've
before, too.
played in bands where I want to do that to the drummer. And it's just humorous. But
I don't care about his bruise.
that doesn't mean it's specifically a good movie. I just think it's fun.
Well, I will say it's a great movie in quality, but I think it didn't grab me as much as I had wanted it to, because a lot of people were saying that it's great, and it's great in like the film buff sense, where it's like it's got really great cinematography, and the editing's cool because the way they work music, like there's big music, basically just musical numbers.
Right.
That they kind of, and I appreciate that they let the music be a main thing. Like they actually let just full music numbers happen because it's a film about music. I just found that it pushed the envelope a little too far for me. Oh boy, I got no teeth anymore. I don't like that pose. I don't like it when anyone does it, but I especially don't like it from him. No! Okay, I'm just gonna somersault over every one of you, and then go between your legs, stick a sword up you, and then I'm gonna break you and dominate you because you're into that. I don't like any of you. Yeah, come at me. Whoop! That's not what I wanted. I wanted to go between his legs, like that, because he likes it when I'm down there. Ah! Woo-wee. Well, then maybe this won't be as much of a disagreement, because
Well, go
I
ahead,
had thought you
I'm
agreed
curious
with
about what
the
you're-
general consensus of like everyone saying it's great. So it was one of those things that I was just like, I appreciated it on a cinematic level because I was like, it's definitely well crafted. I just wasn't. I want your face. Get away from me. No, he's gonna smack me. Oh, I got him. Oh, I'm gonna tender caress. He's never known love until just now. His father never held him. Isn't that sad? Well, kill your friends. Okay, this really drastically changed the tone of this encounter.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna start calling him bruv, because I think the Cockney attitude he's got is really working for me. Boy, bruv.
Hello, bro.
Okay, how long is this, though?
Brovender.
No, that's what it's short for, I'm pretty
I
sure.
know.
I don't know why there's gov and then bruv. I think they're sort of a weird merging. What was the weird... what was that weird crab motion?
I'm telling you, he is the embodiment of. You remember that? It's Bruce mixed with that character from Pirates of the Caribbean. From
Did he just do the little
Davy
mouth poppy
Jones,
thing?
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones?
Yeah. His left hand or his right hand man. That's like the weird shark head.
Well, they're all weird fish
Hammerhead.
people. He's not Hammerhead. He's got too much of a blunt
he's
face
got
for that.
He's got the weird eyeballs.
Yeah, no,
in
he's not a
T-shape.
hammerhead.
Okay.
I'd like you to look at what a hammerhead shark
I know.
looks like.
I
and
would
then
like
look
you
at
to
him
look
again.
at that character and
I
tell
would.
me he's not a
I looked at
hammerhead.
the character. I think you just need to look at
We're
the hammerhead
inserting
shark.
a character picture right here.
Okay, I'm pressing the thing.
And you're gonna find out that you're wrong,
No, I'm.
and then everybody will say,
I will
"Oh,
go and look at him.
It's sad.
Oh, shark burst. Since we're talking about
Sad that
sharks,
You're wrong.
get out of my face! I want to look at my guy. Get away! Show me my friend. That is not a hammerhead face.
No, I wasn't saying him. I was saying
Ooh, he was the guy we were just talking about.
yes. I was saying he's mixed with Bruce from Finding Nemo and the kind of attitude and vibes of.
So you're saying personality-wise, he's like the hammerhead?
No, I'm just saying.
I think you're making things up. I want to get a better look at his face. I can't.
No,
change
I
the
was
camera.
never saying that he was like.
Well, then that's why I was
No.
confused. Here we go. Let's get a good look at his mug. No.
So
what's with the weird Zentai suit?
Yeah, that was weird.
Where's my big boy? Oh no, my boy!
What is with the orcs pumping roids all of a sudden?
Oh,
Can we quit with the Zentai orc?
That's just what they do. What else do you think they're doing all day?
Drinking blood.
Drinking? No, they drink some kind of protein juice.
It's creatine.
May as well be. It grows in the moss. I want to look at him. Give me his face. All right. I mean, I guess we can make do with you. I'm just gonna start calling you bruv and talking a Cockney accent every time. Wait, do I own this guy too? Why are they kneeling? Or is that just because they're big and they need to fit?
I'm gonna refrain.
Well, please do, because I don't know where you were gonna go with that. Anyways,
They know what
Whiplash.
they were gonna do with that.
It's a good movie. I just felt like it reminded me, of Locke because of the fact that it's got very much of an indie sensibility to it, which
Sure.
it is apparently an indie film, similar to how Locke was.
I did not know that.
Well, technically, I mean, it was originally an indie film, and then a studio was like, hey, we'll support this, but it was made as an indie film first. It's actually not unlike John Wick for that reason.
Is that a fact? John Wick was
It was originally an indie film. Keanu Reeves paid for a decent chunk of it. And then they they had literally already made it, and then they were just basically shopping around to studios saying, like, does anyone want to release this? Which is why it was interesting. So it had I appreciated that aspect. It definitely felt like a art film. That sounds passive, dismissive. It felt like an indie film, that it was like super focused on the one theme it was going for.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that kind of tight design where there's no fluff. It's all just like, we're going to focus on this one thing we're trying to experiment with. The main thing is, I think the teacher is... he starts out like, okay, he's obviously, strict and a bit of a, jerk. But they try to give him, like, he's got a reason, and he's got a more human element. And then by the end, it's like, nah, he really is kind of just a jerk. Because, like, the final climax when he basically tries to screw the kid over by not giving him the music at the final show.
No.
That wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to push you to be better. That was just a straight up, like, screw you. Oh, it's our other goth chick. She's not quite goth. What would you call this? Is this just emo? What's the difference between goth and emo? Is it just the makeup?
Commitment.
I mean, they're on a spectrum. Wait, do I have to fight her now? Or am I working with you? Why do I have to work with you? I don't like working with you.
When she bends over like that, it drives you crazy.
Don't. I'm in a committed 2.5 relationship with a goth spider and my ghost husband.
Not like we're talking about crack corn again.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that. He's dead. What do you mean? I'm talking. You can't run from me. Get back here. Oh, okay, he did. Who's got me? I don't. Where am I? Okay, none of these targets actually know where I'm at. I don't know what I'm doing. Stealth dominating archers. Why do I gotta be dominating so many people? I don't. Okay, stealth dominate your nads. So I like how that guy's gonna watch me do this, but it's not gonna matter because he's not gonna alert his friend. No, he did. Too late. Get him. Oh, stealth dominate, not stealth kill. I don't think if that counts, that'll be real. That's a real generous definition of stealth.
We have to keep him because he looks like
he's got a
middle-aged man with a horseshoe.
He's zombie Mr. Burns. What? Oh wow, not even. He's like Bozo the clown. Nope, you ain't got good enough hair. You die today. Oh come on, I don't want to kill everybody. Okay, well the mullet works all right on you. You can stay.
Now we're just going strictly with hair.
Phallic names and good facial hair. That's how we're making this decision. I like how you couldn't do anything while I was doing that, lady. I just absorbed two guys' minds. They're mine now. What's so funny about this to you?
But she's already absorbed yours, so it's.
She hasn't absorbed anything from me. What are you insisting upon this for? Surprise! Does this count as stealth? I mean, he didn't see me until it was too late. What is the person of the... What?
Something to do with the seeing stone.
I don't know what we're talking about. We're interrogating something about the Chosen. Man, all of these orcs have awful facial hair. He looks like zombie Carl Weezer. Not good enough, pal. Whoa! Spank him! Spank him like a naughty orc. Who's around? Ooh, he's got a shield. Protect me, shield boy. Anyways,
You were saying?
Was I? I don't think I was.
You were.
Oh yeah, the cheat, because it just feels like, okay, he's kind of loses the slightly redeemable. It's not entirely redeemable, but they're trying to be like, he's actually got a point, even if it's sort of misguided. Oi, oi, your hair is not nearly good enough to let you live. Oh, she took him from me. Well, fine then. Because it goes from him having, very harsh but ultimately true critiques. It's like, okay, if you're going to insist on perfection, then at the beginning of the film, the things he harps on are nonetheless correct musical principles. But by the end, it's like, okay, now you're just being a jerk for the sake of it. And that kind of lessens your argument about it being to push people to be better. Because that's not going to do that. So I don't know. Is he going to see this? I don't think this is going to count. Oh, I haven't gotten a single stealth kill. Or stealth dominate. Well, so none of these count. His hair's not that bad. Why do the archers know this?
No. The Chosen kill anyone else who gets close.
Well, okay, his mutton chops make up for his hair. Oh, never mind. He's going with a Darth Maul thing. Nah, that's pretty bad. You can stay. Nope, not you, pal. Mohawks aren't good enough. Oh, okay, well, levitation might be good enough. What was that, dude? Oh! Well, it didn't work the second time. Oh, no! Sorry. Oh, he dislocated his shoulder. Anyway, so that was my thought. Is like at the beginning, I was kind of on board, and I was really intrigued by how artsy. I mean, that again sounds kind of patronizing. How well crafted it was.
Huh.
But then I think in the end, I was just sort of like, because there isn't much of a resolution between them. They basically both at the final show just are like, screw you to each other. And I guess that builds mutual respect somehow. Because I thought it was going to be like, the kid commits to sort of putting up with his, abuse, I guess, for lack of a better term, in order to progress. But at the end, it's just like, you're going to screw me over and I'm going to screw you over, and I guess that's sort of going to give us a mutual respect, which doesn't seem like that would be how that happens. But I don't know. It was still very well done. I just didn't connect with it as much as I wanted to, which then reminded me of Locke, because it already reminded me of Locke because of the sort of artistic side of it.
Yeah.
But apparently you don't like this film as much as I like Locke, so I thought we would be sort of opposites on this.
No,
but you seem
we're
to be
certainly
more
not
ambivalent.
polar opposite. Yeah, I'm very much ambivalent. I don't know that I would say
Okay, now where are you
I had
going?
an actual thought on that one, because
Well,
I think
yet, lady.
it's one of those ones where that line just happened to be apropos in situations that I've found myself in.
Your computer is making loud noises and it worries me.
It's because it's sitting next to your computer and it feels
Which is
inferior.
off. Well, it should. But touch the glowing orb.
Also, that blue thing.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. People who know will know. I can't recommend that music video to anyone because it's like, unless I know them really well, because it's incredibly funny. But it's also like, yeah, no, it's not. It's not. No, I don't think I've stealth gotten any one of these people. I don't. So we're going on about this Chosen guy, and I don't know what it's about. It's just weird. So, anyways, let's move on to a more relevant film topic.
All right.
Altario. I don't know who that is.
That would be.
Are you okay? Do I have to do all the work around here?
Yes.
I like our fresh day of reactions. I think it's an interesting.
No, yeah, for sure. So today, obviously,
someone's dead.
We went to see the newest and, to my understanding, the final for at least the Guardians.
Clearly not, because they said he's going to come back at the end, which kind of bothered me. I was like, because the ending montage, or it's not a montage, but like the credits had like all of the
I think the point is
scenes
he's
from the
going to come
previous
back, but
films?
not as
Maybe never in his own film again.
Guardians. Yeah.
I don't know. When this will come out a couple days after.
Here's the difference.
But it is. We
Goths-
have seen it. We're recording
Here's
this on the
difference
day
is
on opening
emos
day.
can actually smile. Goths can't.
Is that a part of your commitment correlation,
Yeah, it
or is this a separate?
It is.
Did she just smile? Is that why you? I think it's a matter of makeup because the emos don't really do much of the makeup aside from like the eyeliner, maybe.
Yeah.
It's more just about wearing black. Maybe you dye your hair if you're really committed. But I don't. Yeah, goths Goths. It's like the makeup and it goes beyond just whatever.
Goths have a bit of almost borderline vampirism in them. I feel like.
Well, I think they certainly are attempting to. What? I fell through the rock. What's the word I'm looking for? Evoke.
Emulate.
What are you up to?
Oh, okay.
I don't
Apparently
like
he was
these
up
things. When can I ride these? That was a skill I liked having. Okay, I don't know what
Dominate them.
I don't know what combos I'm supposed to. Spiders! The spiders!
Spiders!
I'm poisoned. I'm dating your mom.
What?
Because aren't these supposed to be like? Didn't we have a whole thing about because we're teaming with Shelob, we can use the spiders, but except they hate us. I guess that did we break up without my knowing? Am I down to my half relationship with my ghost man? I don't know what you want from me.
They want you to dominate them.
I can't dominate these things. But it doesn't like any other attack I do.
I enjoyed.
No.
Here's the thing.
What is on your head, Bo?
For Bo?
Boy or bro, I don't know what I was going to say. What? Why is he hurting him now? Why am I in it? Why am I in the thing?
I don't know, just do your elven light.
I tried pressing it, it didn't work. It wants to snog me. Everything in this game wants me bod. And I don't know why, but literally none of these attacks work. Do I have to punch it in the nose? Okay, that doesn't work. It's not like a great white. You don't just punch it in the face. But it doesn't, I can kick it in the face. I don't know how I did that. Do I have to just let it attack me and then counter it? Because this seems stupid. Or I could shoot it in the nostrils. Or not. That works. Just never touch it. How about that? Okay, I don't know what I did, but I did something. There you go. Dental surgery, that's what I need.
Shut up, nurse! My thought on it is that I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it was like, oh, that's one of the greatest movies, but
No.
However, for me,
It's this.
Star-Lord has always been a bit of a within the Marvel universe. I feel like it stayed the most good movies without having to buy in fully to all the bigger nonsense.
I feel like there was an amount of bigger nonsense in this.
I felt a little like it had some Star Wars vibes going on.
No.
With the weird
I'm just going to deny that.
with the weird like tentacle pit where there was the three
That's a very tenuous
animals
connection.
It is, but then there was the weird.
Yeah, I know
there
my
was a
point's
couple-
invalid. I'm going to stick with it.
No, I am going to stick with it because I think the tenuous is not specifically invalid. It's just small.
Well, no, tenuous as in, like, I don't know that it holds up to scrutiny.
Well, I'm about to tell you why it does.
Well,
And that is that it. I'm
bring
saying
the scrutiny.
just simply even just the motifs maybe they borrowed. So it's possible that
what are you?
it's possible
pulling
that it's
from
not
here?
specifically like Star Wars in that it just felt like some of the cuts, especially when they were in space, felt a little less like Marvel and more like other planet thing. We're gonna do especially Nowhere. Nowhere felt very much like
There's never been a giant floating skull in Star Wars.
Okay,
There's
I'm
never
not
been
talking about a giant floating skull. I'm
That's
talking
what
about
Nowhere
within
is.
Nowhere.
Well, okay, so it's a sci-fi. That hardly counts because literally every
No.
sci-fi space thing has those kinds of port cities.
Yeah, but I
don't think Star Wars even
very
originated
much
that.
like
Mos Eisley, no.
No.
Then
where
where?
they found the
What's with the cup?
is it Mos Eisley where they found
Han and Chewie?
No, where they found
What am I doing with the bowl? Oh, this isn't one of the puzzles. Okay, I'm just...
the weird. You're just eyeballing.
Tell me about this bowl! Ew. Oh,
the
those are
weird
just mushrooms.
changeling in the second movie.
That's Coruscant. It
well,
looked
that's
nothing
what
like Coruscant.
It looked a little.
No, because Coruscant is like a fancy, rich city. That looked very much like a scrappy outpost.
Looked like the seedy underbelly of Coruscant.
Well, I suppose if you're talking about the literal slums, but that's not what Coruscant's known for. I think you're, again,
Anyway.
tenuous is the word to use.
Sure, I already accepted that moniker readily. So
Well, then I think, okay, if you accept that your argument's tenuous, then I don't think you can claim that it's a good one.
I'm not saying it's a good one, but it's an argument nonetheless. It's because it's an opinion I have. I'm not saying that you must hold it as well.
No, but I think it's it's a poorly founded opinion.
No, I'm simply saying it had vibes to me of.
I think
just kind
your
of
vibes
lazy,
of Coruscant are incorrect. Then I think you need to rewatch that film.
Well, lazy, reframing of other things that have been done. So whether or not you want to call it,
Why has he got body parts?
why
Who is
also
he?
is he
Is
wearing
he the body snatcher? Oh, he is. Scatback, the body snatcher. With his nipple pouch. What's that got in it, dude? It's actually full of nipples.
He feels self-conscious about his own.
It's just snacks. It's like nuts. They're dried. It's like jerky. I should have never bought Gribbons from a Moyle. It's so chewy. Follow the trail. There is no trail.
Maybe if you don't want to use, I think the thing that's offending your fandom is that you don't like the fact that I'm using Star Wars as a reference. All I'm saying is
that
if you'd rather
the
have
images
me say,
that come to mind when you say what you've said do not match what I just watched.
what I'm saying is if you'd rather me
There's
say,
the fart trail.
most obvious sci-fi.
But again, I
just
don't think
kind of-
Star Wars even is the origin of the kind of...
Yay!
No, because sci-fi stuff like that, I mean, maybe Star Wars is the most famous version of it, but even then...
Name one other thing that you would say is more prolific as far as...
Well, prolific, I suppose.
So
but that
I'm
doesn't
just
mean
saying,
it's the original.
that's... Sure.
And again, I think... It looks like, if anything, I would say it would look more like the more recent Star Wars stuff. Like, it looks like something more out of The Mandalorian, I guess.
Sure.
But again, that's not... I mean, again, sci-fi spaceport, crime-ridden alleys. That's not a Star Wars exclusive thing.
No, you're right. It was a bit of a sci-fi caricature in that regard, but
I don't know about caricature. I think it's just...
But at the same time, I actually enjoyed the movie, and it just goes to show why Star-Lord remains one of my favorites within the Marvel Universe. Now, that's the qualifier there is that I find that the Marvel Universe has significantly gone downhill and not even held my attention of late.
This was the only thing I care about probably until they actually pack it all in, which they won't.
They won't, yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm so out.
Will they ever have the boldness to have... Because, I mean, that would actually gain some attention if they actually put at one of the ending screens, say, this character will not return. And be like, we're packing this in. I'd actually pay attention if they did that. Because it was sort of just mid-tier for me.
Like a 3 or...
That maybe, if I'm in a generous mood.
What did you
Because
not
I
like
felt
about
that it
What
was tonally inconsistent.
How so?
Because they try to do some actually quite, dark themes with, you've got Rocket's backstory being rather disturbing and, tragic, and then you got the whole genocide of the entire planet. It's like, okay, so these are some pretty heavy things, and that we've also got the weird flesh planet and the upbeat fight music. I'm like, this just feels a little all over the place. I felt like it didn't gel.
Because we love Tatooine.
Despite all of the weird bodily fluids on display.
What?
The one weird meat planet really threw me off. I'm like, just even the way it looks, I'm like, this is such a... The design of this is so weird that I don't know that I can get behind it.
Were you concerned about the phallic nature of the...
Well, that wasn't even particularly phallic. I'm just like, why is it meat-based? Why would that be the sensible way to build this? I know you can, but that seems still highly inefficient. I don't know. It felt like they did it just to make it like, oh, it's going to be visually interesting, and it made it more just like visually. It seemed a lot like old sci-fi that doesn't care about being realistic, and of course some people don't care about that. There's the age-old gripe within sci-fi is like, does it have to be realistic? And I say no, but it has to be believable. Like,
yeah, I mean,
like
you
can tell me,
the
yeah, there's
suspension of
these crazy
disbelief,
technology or this weird magic, and if you give me an explanation, I'll let you have it. But if you're just like, yeah, it's a meat planet, I'm like, why would that ever be the way you would do that? I don't think. I remember this thing being a pain last time. Because it's similar to the Caragors, where if I remember correctly, it only ever just like shoves me off of it and never lets me attack it. Like this, it does that, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't punch it in its unicorn nose. I mean, I could try just to counter it a bunch, but I don't like that strategy because it doesn't seem like much of a strategy. Yeah, come at me. Oh, so that is literally what I have to do? I just have to stun it by countering? I don't like that notion. That's a dumb way to do this. So, yeah, I mean, I just find that it was awfully... I don't know. Indulgent feels like a Ponzi criticism. But it felt a lot like our designs are based purely off of like, oh, okay, that was not nearly as hard as it was last time. I don't know. It almost feels like a sort of Doctor Who-y, like, yeah, it's just, we're going to make it weird and wacky, and that's...
Sure.
Some people like that. I'm a bit more of a hard sci-fi
Well,
than
I
a
think
soft
you're
sci-fi.
going to see that more often in the Marvel universe, especially as they
Not
get
exactly.
into, like...
Well, no, because
yeah,
when I
you
think
get into
of...
alternate realities...
Well, but that's not what
it's-
that's not even the thing I'm talking about. It's like, I don't like when characters have abilities that seem basically just like they had to have this ability for the plot to work. Because, and I mean, this is a minor example, but it's one that occurred to me. When you have, like the original Iron Man films, obviously it's not possible, the suits that they had the special effects of. But they took the effort to design it in such a way that it looks like it could be a mechanical thing. Like, it has parts that come apart and come together, and the way the suit, like the animations of the early Iron Man like suit up moments,
Yeah.
looked as though they could be mechanical things, even though of course they couldn't really.
Sure.
Whereas then you've got stuff like it's like Nebula's arm being literally just like it's a big metal tentacle that can change into any shape it needs to, and I'm like, that feels awfully lazy.
Yeah, that's
Because it's
what
just
I
like,
was
oh,
saying.
I can stick this into the ship's control.
So
even
it
though
sounds like you and I are saying the same thing, which is that it's a bit like...
it feels lazy, indulgent. I think it's.
Well,
I think
indulgent,
Marvel.
but I'm saying
he's turning
recycled is a good word.
I don't even think that's the problem, because
It feels like...
it doesn't feel like they did anything they've done before. It just feels like
No, not they, but other people have done
they don't
those.
give. I just feel like they know. They don't feel like they have to earn people's believability anymore.
Truth, yes.
Because I guess they think, well, we've made these many films, so people will accept our sci-fi wibbliness.
Right.
But I'm like, no, you kind of still have to, because this is new sci-fi wibbliness. This isn't stuff we've seen before, so you do have to give us an explanation as to why it exists. And it's like, why does the big bad guy have these weird magic powers? What did he get those from? Because he's not exactly meant to be a magician type thing. He's supposed to be a scientist. At least that's kind of how it seemed. He has. So did he give himself these powers? Because how does weird telekinesis work in terms of technology? Like that, it just felt like he has to have these powers because he has to be the bad, threatening,
Right.
evil. And so it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like we know why everyone can pull out random abilities that they have hitherto unknown. And that, I guess, is why I just felt a little like it was lazy. Might be too strict.
Recycled is a fair...
Well, because that isn't... that's not what my thought was. I wasn't thinking I've seen this kind of stuff before.
See, that's what I was thinking when I made the comment about the Star Wars thing. It feels a little...
But I think you're mis-seeing what you haven't seen before because you didn't see it in Star Wars.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. It's just a little bit of the individual elements were okay, but they don't come together very well. That would be my assessment. Some okay moments, but none of them feel like they feed together. And I actually felt like the humor of all the things was at times trying to be this kind of on-brand Guardians of the Galaxy humor that they have had. And so it sort of felt like they were trying to mimic themselves.
Right.
So I guess you could say the humor felt a little bit recycled. Not, again, that it was deliberately telling jokes it had told before, but it felt like they were attempting to make Guardians humor. It didn't feel like it was new humor. It just sort of felt like we're gonna... Oh, well, that didn't work at all.
Pushed B.
He ain't done with you.
He's gonna show me where he's gonna...
Oi, you died. Just because you didn't like how you died doesn't mean I don't get my
That
turn.
was some nonsense.
I don't know. Yeah. It just felt a bit...
Because the word you're looking for is two-dimensional.
Maybe, but not entirely. Because again, there are elements that I thought were fine on their own. They just didn't work all together. And if any, I suppose the only thing that I felt struggled the most was I actually thought that the humor was a little lacking. It felt like they were mimicking themselves. They weren't producing sort of original new material. It was sort of like we're attempting to capture our old style.
Sure.
And that sort of felt forced at times. I don't know what attacks work on this guy.
Predictable is a good word, certainly.
Yeah, maybe that's the right. Yeah. So I don't know. I would say, yeah, kind of just mid tier. 3, I guess, is a sort of slightly above average review, which...
See, you and I grade differently, and I thought about this.
Well, because
the way that I grade is 3 is middle.
No,
Yes.
2.5 is middle, because out of 5,
it's
2.5 is the middle.
But listen, if you use 3 as the middle, then you have 2 on the low end. That means it's less than okay, and even less.
Is it just because you don't like using the decimals? Is that why?
No.
Because you're using...
Think about it. I'm using
no,
the 3.
I am thinking about it.
And then I'm saying 4, 5.
In Goodreads,
and
I
I'm
do
saying
this.
4, and I'm saying 2, 1.
Because Goodreads does not allow you decimal points, but
Well,
Letterboxd
it's
does.
the simple fact
forgive me
that...
for
No, it's the
sticking
simple
with that.
fact that 3 is a
not
good midpoint.
halfway, but it's not
I'm
halfway
not saying it's
between
half
0
and
and
5.
5.
It is
But,
half in the metric of
all
using
but my
that
point
as
is,
a actual scale. You
but I'm
use
saying
3 as the midpoint,
of
the
all
tipping
the
point.
well, you could use that arbitrarily, yes, but I'm saying
It's not arbitrary.
well, yes, because it
No, it's a scale. There's 2 on either side, and then 3 is the midpoint. So if it's just a movie, then it's 3.
No, it's 2.5.
If it's a good movie,
because
then
the
it's
averages
4.
of all numbers.
If it's a great
between-
movie, it's 5.
From 0 to 5, if you were to say what's the average, it's 2.5.
Okay, I'm not saying it's the actual numerical midpoint.
That's what I'm using.
What
as
I'm saying
as numerical
is
averages.
the spatial midpoint is
No,
certainly
you
3.
can no.
Yes, it is. 1.
If you did,
2,
so you're saying
3,
0 doesn't
4,
count
5.
as a score.
Correct. It doesn't.
I would disagree because 1 is not the lowest I've rated films. I mean, I suppose you could argue that both of these scales are arbitrary because if you exclude if you're integers only, and you're not allowing decimal points, then 3, I suppose. But even then, 3
3 seems too high for you, and I don't know why.
not for this. 3 is just not.
No, I'm
average.
saying it's a midpoint for me.
No, 3 is slightly positive, very slightly.
See, to me, 4 is slightly positive.
Because if you
5,
give me,
I love them.
If you give me the options of integers, I am going to go half of 5. Because essentially, I'm using basically it's the pH system where neutral is in the middle. So 2.5 being the middle between 0 and 5. And I suppose if you're going to argue that, well, 0 doesn't count because it's technically not a number, and if you gave something a 0 rating, it wouldn't have a rating. It's like, I guess if that's your system, I suppose that can make sense, but since the option exists, I would rather use Because to me, like if for books, and again, I mean, I acknowledge the arbitration of the fact that like Goodreads does integers and Letterboxd does decimals. So it's arbitrary that one does one and one does the other. But like if a book is sort of just meh, I will usually have to round it down to a 2. Because what I would say is it's 2.5. It's right in the middle. But there's no such option for that, so I would round down. Whereas 3 is like, it's slightly positive. And because I have the option of splitting that difference in a decimal system, I do. So if I would say 3 is like, it was, because 4, the thing that about, because essentially you might make the argument that, well, in fact, this is my argument, I suppose. If you do a 5-star system, if you do a 5-star system with half stars, then that's essentially the same thing as a 10-star system.
Yeah.
Because every star counts as 2. There's the decimal and then there's the integer.
Sure.
In which case, you would have to agree that 5 is halfway between...
Correct.
Exactly. And so half, if the maximum is 10,
what's funny
half is 5. If the maximum is 5, half is 2.5.
In my opinion, based on the way that I
You use the
scale,
IMDb scale, which means a 6 is really, really bad.
No. It's not an IMDb scale. What it is if I'm using 10 as the actual scale, according to what my thought process is, it would be that
I was supposed to shoot it in the head. It didn't do anything.
5.5 would be the midpoint because
You're just making all of this up.
No, I'm not.
You don't know enough about your math.
I'm not. Because then you have...
Because 5.5's not in between... It's not half of 10.
There's 5... If you use 5, then there's 5 above and 4 below. That's not the middle.
So you just discount 0 then?
I do discount
because obviously on most rating sites you can't give 0 because that's equivalent of not giving a rating. But mentally, there are films that I'm like, this is so abhorrent, I don't think it deserves...
But then you can't say that.
Well, you can say it, you can't numerically.
Yeah, you're one of those people that goes, if I could give this a 0, I would, but I'm going to give it a 1 star.
No, because I don't review things usually. I mean, if it was a film, I would give it a half star because that's an option on Letterboxd, and that is the lowest. So but even then, if you think half stars,
along with me.
So it's you're saying it's instead of from 0 to 5, it has to be from 1/2 to 5 because I just don't because that's not numerically correct.
Well, I agree, but no rating system.
I suppose that's true. That's why I admit that all of it's arbitrary because you're whatever you pick for your rating system, the fact that you picked that was a choice.
Sure. I just find that it's helpful because what it does is it allows me to go, any movie has a option and a opportunity to be a 3. Any movie, in my opinion.
No.
It has an opportunity to be a 3.
Every film has an opportunity to be a 5.
Well,
too.
Sure, but what I'm saying
every film could be great.
But I'm saying when I watch a movie, if it's just okay and I literally have no feeling about it, I'm ambivalent about it, I'm going to say it's a 3. Because
here's the other thing.
Dirty whore.
Wow, tell us how you feel about the wood monster. I don't think it's capable of what you've accused it of. The thing about it though,
look at you smiling.
Admittedly,
she knows what it's capable of.
I don't want to know how she knows what it's capable of. Part of the reason the first site that ever got me into the mental process of reviewing things was, I think, Goodreads. And the thing about Goodreads is that and I suppose I took it at face value, and maybe most people don't, but when you hover over the stars on Goodreads, it will actually tell you, like, this is their equivalent of their impression. So it's like 3. So
you're using somebody else's scale.
Well, yeah, because that was the first one. And so, like, if you hover over it, because to me, I'm like, if this is the scale they have, I could insist upon my own, but then then what's the point of publicly reviewing them? I might as well just write it in my film log and say this is what I thought of it, and I'm using my own proprietary scale.
Sure.
The fact that I'm using Goodreads, or I guess in that case it'd be a book log, that because it's a public thing, I may as well use the publicly provided scale.
Sure.
So on their side, it's like 2 is it was okay, 3 is it was good, 4 is it was really good, and 5 is it was great. I don't like it.
Do you not see though that then stacks the deck in favor of at least everything being okay?
Well, because for the most part, very
That's not
few
the
books
truth.
are bad. Like a bad book is a unique experience. I have probably as many 1-star books as I have 5-star books because both are rare. Like a great book and a really bad book are both rare for the same reasons. An okay book and a pretty good book are about the same. Like I probably have as many 2 stars as I have 3 stars. It's just because again, if I think of my fault isn't even that I missed the press. I just pressed it too early.
That's what and I don't. You're saying I do miss it? No, it's.
I
Exactly
don't know
the
what you're
same
doing.
thing. I'm
not
over
speaking-
here.
I'm not looking at what your hands are doing while you're playing. So I admit that I've borrowed that metric because it was the metric that was first put in my mind when I started the critical reviewing of various forms of media.
Sure, and that's fair.
Then when I moved to Letterboxd, I was actually thrown off by like the half-star system because I was like, it feels like there's too many options.
My
now.
point
There's too
is
much
always-
nuance because you could almost say then every film gets a decimal point to itself. Like you could have this one's a 2.75, this one's a 2.76, and you could literally rank all of your favorite films in order of your favoriteness. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's far too persnickety. But I did start to grow on the fact that I appreciated the nuance because there are times when I'm like, I really have no opinion on this book. Like it wasn't bad or
How
good.
are you
I'm
not
literally
burning yourself as well? brother?
well, yeah, you got a point being that he's made of wood, but I guess he's a spirit inside of wood. So he's kind of like us. He's an inanimate object embodied by a spirit. So theoretically, neither of us are destructible right now, except for the fact that he's harder. So he could mash us into pulp, and we would.
Hard.
It would take us a lot of industrial machinery to turn him into pulp. Oh.
Oh, that was actually me that time.
So you just like to blame the game, is what you like to do.
No, in the past it has been the game. That time it actually was me.
So
Yeah, I thought it was a decent film. Anyway, just getting back to that, I do think it was good. Again,
decent as I suppose, if I had to give a verbal response, it's like, yeah, it was fine. Had its moments, also had its dragging spots.
Yeah.
I actually, if anything, I thought that the thing that intrigued me the most, if only because it reminded me of, because they sort of have Rocket's backstory being a little bit Island of Dr. Moreau, which I have never seen adapted. I know that there's a film version of it, but from what I gather, it's not very good and doesn't follow the source material. I haven't actually watched it. That's just a reputation I have heard. But because that's a whole nother, that's a topic I could go on about, where I actually think that the Island of Dr. Moreau is what Frankenstein is the better version of Frankenstein.
Huh.
And if
See, I would have said that those were.
have you read The Island of Dr. Moreau?
I have.
Because I would love
It's
to
been a
discuss it. I
while.
didn't know that you had. Because it's a bit of an obscure one, even for Wells.
Yeah. No, I have, but it's been a while. But I would say I would have thought that you
I'm
would have
supposed
said
to-
the opposite, which is that.
No, Frankenstein I think goes on too long. Island of Dr. Moreau is too short. Frankenstein,
But
there's
that
a
doesn't-
big chunk of Frankenstein
That, it may
that's
be
like...
too short, but that. Oh,
I mean, you could make the argument of like leave the audience wanting more rather than less. That's a...
yeah, that's.
But
okay.
I think it's... The problem I have with Wells in general is I find that he doesn't... He is the opposite of Jules Verne, and that Jules Verne always kind of goes too much into the science, where you just kind of want to be like, okay, buddy, can you get back to the plot, thanks?
Right.
Whereas Verne, I'm like, I'd actually like a bit more backstory than what I've got, because none of this... I get the sense that there's some potential interest here, but I'm not getting all of it.
Yeah,
Because
but
the thing
isn't
that fascinated me about the Island of Dr. Moreau, since we're, I guess, going to diverge into this topic, since it's one I've wanted to have, is that I think the concept of the sort of animal vivisection, where he's turning animals into pseudo-humans while they're alive, not only does that have at least slightly more scientific merit than bringing a corpse back from the dead.
Does it though?
Not really, because I'm sure that both are truly impossible. But like stitching body parts together and shocking it with electricity, even if you could perfectly surgically attach body parts such that they would function together, I'm not sure you could reanimate a corpse. And I suppose that essentially, what? He did a teleport! That was some nonsense. I'm actually at least doing better. He's lower on health. That's actually a metaphysical question more than a scientific question. Like, when a body is dead, does simply reviving it, what would that even do?
Well,
like, if you believe in a concept of a soul, you'd have to say that and if you don't, what would the thing that comes back be? Because the book basically makes it out to be like it's just a person.
Places. A person that very clearly has issues with the fact that they were brought back.
Well, it's not even that he has issues with the fact that he's brought back. His issues are with the fact that he was essentially abandoned after he was brought back. Yeah, that's basically the whole point of the book. I think I've exhausted. I'm actually rather close. I just need more shots for my elf.
The other place that we could
go. Why am I not leaving the mission area? You fool! He's pushing me out here.
The other place that we could go to for that, the query on what would happen if you brought something back from the dead is.
I'm not dead. I killed him. I was putting it down because I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, you Wazzock. I don't want to fight a wood. Okay, I got to fight the wood dragon. Will it know where I am? It seems to. I don't want to fight the wood dragon. This is a dumb idea. Use a charge shot. I don't got elf bows.
I think that you could make the case that Full Metal has a fairly good handle.
Yes, but they openly acknowledge the concept of soul. Like, can a soul? They're a very metaphysical show.
Well, but they also recognize that bringing something back would be a torment.
Well, to an extent, but I don't know that's never. But I guess the problem with Frankenstein is that none of these elements are thoroughly explored.
Well, but that's my point. Why wouldn't you say that?
Because again, it doesn't.
Because I feel like Moreau, at least,
they're living creatures that never died. So arguably, if you just gave them human-ish bodies, and I mean, it's unclear what he does to their brains to make them sentient, but it's basically just transplanting. I mean, it sort of becomes a corpse of Theseus question, where it's like, okay, if you were to replace the body parts of a living thing. Wow. Okay, it's much higher than I thought. Is it still the same thing?
Well, and obviously the answer would be that
it's sort of yes.
It's a bit of a gestalt because a human is more than just the sum of its parts.
Well, and that's the thing that I found most interesting about the book is it's the creepy rituals that the weird animals have for like we're trying to be human despite the fact that we know we're not, and so they have like the weird mantras about. It's been a while since I've read it, but they repeat chants of something like, rejecting the animal impulse. It's like, this is weird and creepy and... What? Oh... Can I at least start from this point in the fight? I don't want to fight from the very beginning. I don't like your taunting. You're not very supportive. Oh, it's your turn to fight the wood worm.
Gotta get the ring. Gotta get that out.
So I just thought that was far more interesting, and I guess, of course, the science is, I think, also very dubious, but it does. The fact that it avoids the metaphysical question, because I think the problem is with Frankenstein, you kind of have to engage the metaphysical question, and I don't think it really does.
Is that your problem? Is that it?
Partially, I also think Frankenstein's just a little bit overlong. I think there's a big segment in which you're exclusively following the creature and like learning how it learned to speak by stalking people, which I'm like, that doesn't quite seem like that's enough. I don't think you could learn because not only does it learn to speak, it like learns to wax poetic, and I'm just a little like, this doesn't quite make sense. Not that it...
Comment. Where's the elf shot?
I don't know, but you're just eating fire.
I am, because I don't know where my elf shot is.
Well, it's on the map. Just wander to the arrows. Fire. I don't know who's taunting us right now. Is this the spirit we're fighting? I think you got elf shot now. Yeah. I don't know how you do a charge shot. How does that happen?
Where is it, though?
Over there. It's coming.
When last seen hurling through the forest over there.
Well, Did that hit it? Oh, it did, but it took off a tiny amount of its health. This is dumb. I hope this is the final part of the fight. Get it while it's still! Okay, so each arrow does actually take a reasonable chunk. Uh-oh.
Psych!
I don't think that was much of a psych. You're still on fire!
Oh,
Fire!
okay.
Fire!
There's fire! Fire!
Anywho, I suppose we may have spoiled something, but we all knew that Rocket was a
Raccoon was a rocket.
We knew that he was experimented on, and that was what made him capable of speech.
The thing that was unique about this one is that...
Because they played into some of the creepiness of it, where it's like, yeah, this would actually be like these sort of animals that are vaguely sentient but clearly cobbled together. It's like, yeah, that would actually be rather disturbing. You're fleeing the area. Whoop! He's carpet bombing you for being a coward.
I wasn't doing any such thing. I was trying to... Okay.
Well, I don't think you're dead yet. Oh, you are.
Pursuing.
So that I thought actually, but then again, I don't feel like they gave it. They didn't focus on that enough.
The difference,
I guess, because it would have made the tone even more jarring than it already was.
What? Just the
like, because the tone of the film, I still think is a little bit all over the place. Because that's awfully grim and kind of disturbing, and yet the other parts of it are like super wacky and silly. And it's like these don't quite feel like they fit together. So maybe had they focused on it more, it would have only skewed the tone further. But
I think he needs his own movie.
Well, maybe he will now that he's whatever happens at the end that I won't spoil.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really does, because I'm not hurting for more Marvel stuff.
No, that's
if I'm
certainly
honest.
true.
So these arrows do actually do reasonable damage. It's just we gotta not burst into flames repeatedly. Come on now.
Gotta have the black arrows.
I wish. Am I actually going to hit it through the trees, or are the trees going to block me for some reason? Anyways. I don't know. Is that so? Are we basically both agreed that it was sort of just all right?
Yeah, I thought it was a good film, but I don't know that it would be one I would want to own.
See, that's also an odd description, because if I like something, I would want to own it.
I liked it, but there are a great many films that I don't want to own a film unless it's like I'm gonna watch this.
See, I think I take
again
on a bit more of it. Well, yeah, but see, if it's a good film, why wouldn't you want to watch it again? To me, a film you don't care to watch again is sort of an okay film.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, but you said this was a good film.
Well,
again, good and okay have different connotations in my book. Okay is a sort of ambivalent meh. Good is like, oh, I liked this. I guess really what this is ultimately is a what's the theological term for? Is it a heuristic? Is that the word I'm looking for? The way you measure and evaluate things?
correct. Yes.
So I guess this just becomes a heuristic argument
that's
of
not
how
purely a theological term, though.
Well, it's a philosophical term, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, where we have our focus recharges over time. Well, okay. Thanks. Am I out of shot, or I'm out of focus? And shot.
Back up a bit, Mr. Dragon. You're out of focus.
He's actually easier than the Graug face, because he's much easier to avoid. Oh.
You done shot him in his neck hole.
He's like, ouch! I was hoping he would. Oh, I wanted him to collapse to the ground and ragdoll. Your computer is very insecure, apparently. Okay. I hope we're not gonna fight something else. Oh, we're gonna speak to the mother tree. It's Avatar.
Seems this
Ooh,
tree. Oh.
it is
It
the mother
actually
tree.
is. It's gonna be
Grandmother
Grandma
Willow.
Oh, you beat me to it. You.
Of course I did. Whoop, it's a living thing. It's a living thing. That's a weird reference I didn't expect to come to mind. How much of a living thing? Is it going to be another Can I Add You to My Waifu catalog?
Wow. Wow.
I got my ghost husband and my goth spider chick. I mean, I guess we'll
I
make...
need my old grandma.
There's no guarantee she's old. I mean, technically, we're all old.
She's for sure old.
Ghost Man's old. He's like 1,000 years.
Maybe this one will be for you, Ghost Man.
The question is, does she look old?
She looks old.
No, she looks like wooden Gollum, which someone somewhere's into. I don't think it's me.
You don't think it's you. You don't know yet.
I mean, she's got a bit of the Skyrim, what are they called? Spriggan vibe, which
I'm getting
someone's into.
I'm getting
it.
Giantress.
Yeah, she's got the big. If you like your I'm not sure what's okay to say. If you're interested in
Large
being
women.
dominated. If you want a break from doing the dominating of all the orcs, and you want someone else to do that for you,
Go and let a tree grab you by the leg.
I think we're digging a hole here. We might need to just bail out.
Getting the poop smith just.
I mean, he's into it. He's into everything. It
Okay,
seems.
so as she's.
When you yourself are a corpse, can you really have many standards? Like, what?
I'm getting a bit of a Nefertiti thing going on.
The Egyptian.
Oh no, I'm not Nefertiti. I'm sorry. The what's it called? The one from Moana. What is her name?
Oh, Nefertiti or
Tafiti.
Tafiti.
There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Tafiti.
Yeah, there were people who were into that. I'm sure. Point is, there's people who's into everything, and when you're a corpse, I think that lowers your standards. You probably got to take what you can get.
Well, because not many people are into the whole.
No, not many people would take you. So you don't have you're not spoiled for choice. That's a swagger. He knows what he's up to. Just going out, just seduced a forest spirit. Also, if you're dead, can you really have a revulsion instinct anymore? Like, would there be anything that puts you off? Yeah, I don't think anything could put you off, because otherwise you'd just be constantly walking around gagging at yourself. I mean, he probably can't smell. I don't think he has much taste or feeling. I don't think he can really gripe.
So he's just always.
He's always
excited.
He's always ready. Well, rigor mortis, I suppose.